What's up people, this is Brandon here. In this tutorial, we will walk through using the polymodular system to create a polysynth. We start by creating a combinator. Right-click and choose Combinator from the Utilities menu. We'll create the synth components inside the combinator. Hold Shift while creating all of the components. First, create a distributor CV switch as the voice controller. Then create a VO1 Viking oscillator as the oscillator. Next, create a filter envelope, which is a movement waveform generator. Then an F16 analog filter, another movement for the amp envelope, and finally a Mark 8 amplifier. Hit Tab to flip to the back of the rack. The first thing to do is switch distributor to poly mode. Now we can start making connections. We'll start with the audio connections. This synth is going to be a 4-voice synth, so we'll hook up the first 4 audio channels. First, connect the VO1 oscillator outputs to the F16 left inputs. Then connect the F16 left outputs to the Mark 8 left inputs. Now connect the left Mark 8 output to the left from devices input on the combinator. That's all the audio routing. You can see that the signal path goes from the oscillator, through the filter, and into the amplifier. Then the output of the amplifier goes to the combinator. Now we'll do the CV connections. The oscillator needs a note connection from the distributor. Connect a cable from any of the note outputs to the note input on VO1. The F16 also needs a note input, so route one there too. The 2 envelopes need gate signals, so route one to each envelope. Now the envelope outputs need to be routed to the filter and amplifier. Connect the first 4 CV outputs of the filter envelope movement to the envelope inputs on F16. And connect the first 4 CV outputs on the amp envelope movement to the envelope inputs on Mark 8. There's one more extra connection. In order to save CPU, we route the gate output from the amp envelope movement to the gate input of the VO1. Then the oscillator is only running during the amp envelope. And now we're done with the routing. Flip to the front of the rack. Since this is a 4-voice synth, we need to set distributor to 4 voices. Now we're done and you can start tweaking the patch. Remember that the filter envelope amount knob needs to be turned up for the envelope to affect the filter. It's easy to create a stereo synth by adding another oscillator to this synth. Hold Shift and right-click on the original VO1 and create another VO1. Now flip to the back of the rack. Connect the audio outputs from the new VO1 to the filter right channel. Connect the outputs of the filter right channel to the amplifier right channel inputs. And connect the right output of the amplifier to the right from devices input of the combinator. That covers the audio connections. Now for CV. Connect a note signal cable from distributor to the new VO1. And for CPU savings, we route the gate through signal from the original VO1 to the gate input on the new VO1. Now everything is connected. To hear the stereo effect, you can tweak the oscillator settings. For example, adjust the waveforms on the two oscillators to different settings. Now you've created a stereo polysynth. From here you could add more movement devices as LFOs for modulation. For more configuration examples, see the Polymodular System User Manual available at www.blamsoft.com.